Peace, power, and soul. It's the activated new bright 10, the Futurtarian. Video is going to be on the standby, the power, and the reset. The standby, the power, and the reset. Okay, when you're dealing with the reset, standby, and power, right? Now, when your mind goes through these phases, your mind's going to go through one of these phases. And see, we already know what phase you want. If you want to standby, if you want to reset, or if you want the power just being totally shut off. Because your power can be shut off. It's a mental aspect. So we know if you want to reset, we know if you want to standby, if we know power. Because if you're on standby is basically breaking down standby. What is standby? Standby is that your mind's on, but it's not activated. That's a standby. Your mind is actually moving, it's working, it's maneuvering through each day. You're going living your life, but you're still intrigued by something else. See, your mind's on standby. You're getting to that point where you're starting to see this world differently, and you're starting to see these doctrines and everything else that's around you differently. And a lot of people that come to you that's not truly activated, you're gonna see on how it's not going to progress certain things in your life. It might entertain you, because I broke down entertainment, internally taming your mental. That's an old video right there. But yes, we back through the cyberverse. It's the activated new bright 10, the Futurtarian. Once more again, peace, power, and soul. Standby. See, when your mind's on standby, you're functional. You're functional. You're living your everyday life. You're going around. You're doing this and doing that. And standby is actually a good thing. When you're on standby, that means anything can trigger you. That means you're open up to being triggered. You have it's just what are you going to be attracted to? What are you going to be attracted to when your mind is on standby? Because when your mind's on standby, a lot of things can activate certain things in your mind. So standby is actually a decent thing for you to move forward to the future, because if somebody like us come along and then you actually be intrigued by it, and you can move your bloodline forward and move the neurotransmitters in your children's head to get past this illusion, then you serve a purpose. It's when your mind's on standby, right? And then you got the reset. The reset is after you get past standby, your mind has a reset switch. Your mind is an organic computer. It has a reset switch to it. So when you reset it, that means that anything that you have that's in your mind already, right, it's ready for new. When I mean by new, I don't mean N-E-W. I mean N-U. New information, aka intel. I'm going to repeat myself. New information, aka intel. Not dealing with Siri, Google, and Alexa. Because you always got to go back to Siri, Google, and Alexa. Because I see some of these teachers, they doing their thing, and shit, we already know who got potential and who don't. And then it's so funny because we sit there and we watch some of these teachers, and we might make a comment, and then something plays out in the future. We be like, damn, we seen that coming. We already seen it coming. That's why I said future. So you got the standby and you got the reset, right? The reset is actually your mind's in a mode that got past standby, so you ended up resetting your mind. So when you reset your mind, what happens? You start downloading other certain things in your mind that is basically, now I'm talking about on an intel level. So because you can do all these things on a different level. I'm talking about the intel level. So when you reset your mind, then you can start tapping into certain frequencies to receive the intel. And even if you can't receive the intel and you understand it's coming from a certain selective few, because it's going to come from a certain selective few. If you don't end up tapping in, then you have to tap in through them. And that's just the way it is. Even societies ran like that. And what's the off switch? The power off switch. The off switch, when you're dealing with standby, reset, and power off, the off switch is basically a submission. Off switch is submission. You're submitting to whatever lifestyle that you choose, dealing with this this matrix. So when you turn your mind off, because your mind's going to be on all three of these things at one point. The reset's more critical than the power and the standby. It's the reset, because your mind's steadily getting reset when you're dealing with teachers on here, and they pull, because I listen to them, but then I understand that every time they say something, there's not a lot of teachers out here, but every time they say something, they pulling something off Google, which that's fine when you're dealing with Google, Siri, and Alexa. If you're looking for a car, if you're looking for a home to buy, if you're looking for a new restaurant to eat, if you're looking for some clothes to buy, yeah, they're real excellent with that. But when you're looking for stuff that's coming from the future, it's not going to come from a computer. Now, simulations of what can happen in the future can come from a computer, but not no real intel stuff that makes sense. Stuff that makes sense. What is sense? Your senses. That's what makes sense means. It makes sense to your senses. If you touch, I got this antique mirror right here. I touch this antique mirror. It makes sense to my fingertips. That's sending the electricity up my arm, going to my mind. It's making sense that this is a mirror. That makes sense. So if it makes sense, then that's how you know it's futuristic. The off switch. That's why I got this sign right here, because there always has been tapped in and tapping in and out the quantum realm. They've been tapping in and out the quantum realm. That's where you get the 1, and that's where you get the 0. Why do you think that they have this 1 and this 0 and this on and off switch? Because it's the same thing with your mind. It's just that your mind is an organic computer. The reset button. So I know a lot of y'all got cable. A lot of y'all got cable. A lot of y'all got maybe dish or some type of digital TV service. You look at that, then when you call them in, your reception's messed up, and they say reset it. They're telling you to reset the digital frequency, current, to reset it so you can tap back into that frequency so you can watch your TV again. That's the first thing they tell you to do, is reset your box. Same thing with your mind. It's the same thing with your mind. Now, that's why when you're dealing with quantum physics and 1 and a 0, that's why they have it the button like this. They got the 1 in the middle, and they got the 0 going around it, which is not a full 0, but if you connect it, it's still a 0. Because the whole goal is to keep you in that hamster wheel. That 8, I broke down the 808 kick. I broke down the 808 kick drum and broke down the 6 and the 9. How the circle of the 6. I got the evidence of it. How the 6 and the 9 represent you breaking out the circle. So you dealing with the 808 kick. Here's some intel. People always talking about, oh, you stealing. Act like people don't steal from me. For real. The one bringing the intel. The 808 kick drum was named that for a reason. Here's some more intel for you teachers. The 808 kick drum, the reason why they called it the 808 kick drum is because what happens when you get the 6 protons, 6 electrons, 6 neutrons. What's that? That's you breaking out the circle and going into what? A 1. That's what that means. So what they do when they change when you're dealing with hip hop and you're dealing with the 808 kick drum, because once you picture this stuff and write it down on paper, once you see the 6, you're breaking out the circle. What's the circle? The circle is the hamster wheel. So what they got to do, they have to loop you back in the circle. How? With the 8. So the 6 curves back and it attaches back to the circle, and then they put the 0 after that, because then that's letting you know you're tapped back in. You're tapped back into the matrix. Then they put the 8 right there, because once you start trying to tap back out of the 6 protons, 6 electrons, 6 neutrons, then they have to put the 8 there to put you back. That's where you get the 808 kick drum. And actually the 808 kick drum is really 80808080808080, and it keeps going for eternity, because that's where they want you. They want you trapped in this 3D reality of illusion. Some more intel for you teachers. Anyway, that's why they call it the 808 kick drum. Why is that kick drum so significant in hip hop right now? That's the reason why, because they knew that low frequency, low chakra boom that kicks, they knew it was attracted to the low frequencies. But yeah, that's a real quick video. I'm not doing long videos no more, man. It's the Futurtarian. New Bright 10, a little bit of because I'm up here in Minnesota, so a little bit on the riots that's going up here right now. You know what I'm saying? I already received the intel about this a year and a half ago. I already received the intel. I didn't even know why I moved about 20-25 minutes away from the city, and now I know why, because I was always tapped in at a certain point in my life. You know what I'm saying? The last riots that happened, I ain't even gonna tell y'all where I was at. You know what I'm saying? And especially if you live in Minnesota and these shelves and these stores get empty, I'm going to repeat myself. If you live in Minnesota and these shelves in the store get empty, you're going to have to pay. Straight up. You're going to have to pay, because we going to be fine. But in order for you to figure out where to go, you're going to have to pay for that. And you're going to have to wait until that happens in the future before I tell you. Because it's going to be overpopulated if I say where. So I want to say peace, power, soul. It's the activated New Bright 10, the Futurtarian. If you like what you hear, share, subscribe. If you don't, moving forward. Peace.